Yo, what's up? I'm Coach Rich Thurman, also known as Coach RT3, and today we're going to talk about 3 setups that you can use for hip internal rotation. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss a post from me again. So you may have had somebody tell you that you need internal rotation of the hip joint at the bottom of your squat in order to get further into that squat. But what does that even mean? Well, that means that rotation of the joint is necessary in order to provide space for this bone to move in that joint as you go into those depths. But how do you train that? We got 3 setups that I like to use with my clients for internal rotation. The very first one is a seated position that's very close to the bottom of the squat. But before we get to that one, we're going to jump into the other 2. Well, I like to set up in a split kneeling position in internal rotation. So I will take my instep of my foot and I'll place it against something solid and immovable. Then I'll take my body out wide like I'm about to do a lunge. From there, I'm going to go into split kneeling. So I'm going to come down, and now this bone is being put into internal rotation. So as I go down, I end up in this internal rotation position. Now from here, what I can do is I can begin to shift a little bit more, so I can rotate my hip girdle over the bone to get a little bit more rotation there. So now I'm getting rotation of that posterior capsule tissue along with a little extension there. From there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold that stretch for 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, I'm going to begin my patellar contraction, which is rotating my bone this direction, so around this direction, so that the instep of my foot gets heavy against the box. I'm going to ramp that up to my maximum effort using this inner thigh stuff here. And then my rails contraction is going to be the opposite direction. So I'm trying to contract this stuff behind the pocket and trying to rotate my leg or rotate my foot off of the box. Now that's not going to happen because I should be at in range, but we're contracting that tissue and we're trying to blast open more space in the joint capsule. The second position I like doing is also utilizing the box, but this time it's from a quadruped. Sometimes people have a hard time getting that set up there. So this one brings you into a little bit of hip flexion and gives you that internal rotation. So what I'll do is the same thing, coming into that position there. And now I'm in internal rotation of my hip here, but now I'm going to go into quadruped. So now I'm in this position here. I'm going to base out in quadruped, and from here I'm getting a stretch. I'm unable to rotate off the box. I'm going to hold that stretch. I should be looking for a stretch back here. I'm going to hold that stretch for 2 minutes, and then my patellar contraction is driving into the box. My rails is pulling away. The final setup that I like is the seated position. So we'll come to a seated position. We'll take a yoga block. We'll put it between the legs. Now this is the closest to your bottom of your squat, and we're going to internally rotate here. Okay, so now I can get a 2-for-1 as well, so I can train both sides at the same time. So I'm looking for a stretch of this stuff back here, so I can shift my pelvis around. I've already found the stretch for myself here. I'm going to hold that stretch for 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, I'm going to begin to try and rotate so that my feet go into the ground towards each other. I'm going to ramp that up to maximum effort for my patellar contraction, and my rails contraction is going to be trying to lift the opposite direction using this stuff in the back of the pocket. So that's 3 ways that you can train the internal rotation of your hip and blast open some space in that capsule in order to give you a better opportunity at the bottom of your squat. If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button and share it with somebody who loves the squat. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you never miss a post from me again.